Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for the latest Winchester Business Improvement District Forum. Good to see you all. A little bit cooler today, but still hot, but hopefully everyone's okay. So most of you know me, but for the benefit of anyone I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Paul Spencer and I'm the Executive Director for Winchester BID. And firstly, if you're new to these events, just so you're aware, we film the presentations and they go up online afterwards, so anyone who can't join us at the event can watch the videos on our social media channels. So I hope that's okay with everyone and just making you aware of the recording taking place. We hold our BID forums regularly throughout the year, and they're an opportunity for BID member businesses and other stakeholders and organisations around Winchester to come together and hear about our work, network with each other, hear our latest updates and ask questions and meet the team, but also find out about other projects happening in the city which are of interest to the local business community. So here's our agenda. Today I'll be giving you an update on the work towards our new business plan for 2023 to 2028. So all bids, including the Winchester bid, operate in terms of 5 years. And every 5 years, bids prepare a new business plan based on the projects and services that their members want to see them deliver. And then bid levy payers or bid members then have the opportunity to vote whether they would like the bid to continue operating for a subsequent term of 5 years. We started the process of preparing our new business plan about 10 months ago now. It started in the autumn of last year when we had an independent survey of our membership, which was undertaken to start capturing information on what people's priorities were for the future and what sorts of things they would like us to be focusing on. So hopefully some of you took part in that. If you didn't and you're interested and you're wanting to get involved, there's still opportunities over the next month or so to feed back into our plans for the future. And the best person to contact will be myself, and my contact details are up on one of the slides as we move through. Also, all our events this year, we've had flip charts and pens and post-its capturing further feedback from people about what they want to see from their business improvement district. So we do have a flip chart at the back, there's pens in the corner, so by all means scribble away on those, chat to myself or members of the team that are in the room, and then we'll collate that with all of the other information we've been collecting over the past 10 months or so. So there'll be opportunities to ask questions after each presentation. But also, if you do want to write down your thoughts, as I say, on the post-its and the flip charts, then please do. After my update on the business plan, I'll be handing over to our bid manager, Sarah Davis, who's sat at the front here, who'll be talking to us about some of the projects we've got coming up later this year, and also some of the stuff that we're working on at the moment as well. And we also have Hannah Scott, who's the Operations Director for Trinity Winchester, sat at the back there, who's going to be talking to us about a new extended outreach delivery plan, which is being supported through funding from the Office of the Police and Crime Commissioner. Trinity Winchester, which many of you will know, is a local charity which provides vital, practical and emotional support to people experiencing the effects of homelessness, addiction or other vulnerabilities. And they're a charity that we support through the BID, through our Spare Change for Lasting Change giving scheme. And this plan will specifically provide additional support for individuals in need, whilst also aiming to help reduce antisocial behaviour in the city centre and engagement with relevant partner agencies. And we also have Jeff Hobbs from Hampshire County Council, who's going to be talking to us about a new study which the county and city councils are working on, looking at how we can make Winchester more pedestrian and cycle friendly, and that links in, of course, with the Winchester Movement Strategy. So thanks to Sarah, Hannah and Jeff, and we look forward to hearing from you shortly. So as I mentioned, our journey towards creating our new business plan, we've got our draft business plan which is up on the website and out there now, began, as I say, in the autumn of last year, and the final version will be launched at an event on the 21st of September, which is taking place in the Wessex Centre at Winchester Cathedral Close, and we hope you'll be able to join us for that event too. BID members will have the opportunity to vote as to whether they would like to see the BID continue operating for a further term of 5 years to deliver this new business plan. And then the ballot will be running from the 7th of October through to the 3rd of November, and the results will be announced on the 4th of November. So over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll talk you through what a BID is, what we do for Winchester, some of our achievements to date and over the past 15 years, the upcoming ballot, priorities in the new business plan, and how you can find out more and give feedback in these final stages of preparation for the new business plan. So firstly, what is a business improvement district? We've been around for 15 years in Winchester now, so it's always good to remind ourselves of exactly how these organisations work, what we're here to do and what we're here to do for our members. So BIDs are business-led partnerships which deliver projects and services to local businesses which are beyond the statutory responsibilities of public bodies. They're legally established and they're voted for in a ballot process, and our last ballot was in the autumn of 2017 and our next one is coming up later this year. BIDs are funded from a levy which is derived from a percentage of rateable value. And among over 330 bids across the country, this ranges from around 1% up to 6%. And in Winchester, it's set at 1.5%, which is the percentage used by the majority of bids in the UK. And we're not proposing to increase this percentage in the new term, so it will remain at 1.5% of rateable value. Bids are established within a defined geographical area. In Winchester, we're very much the centre of the city. And they usually operate on a 5-year cycle. So the bid in Winchester was first established on the 1st of April 2008, so 15 years we've been operating in the city, and the bids enabled over £7 million to be invested in projects and services to improve the city as a business location, and as well as over £750,000 more which has been raised in grants, sponsorship and project-generated income. So the bids delivered 2 business plans over 2 terms of 5 years, and we're now in the final year of our 3rd term and developing proposals for a 4th term. So the bid is operated through a not-for-profit organisation called Winchester City Centre Partnership, which has been around longer than the bid and was delivering some services prior to the bid as well. And so there's a longer history there. And we report to a board of directors who provide a range of skills and expertise and represent a variety of business sectors and organisations within the city. And there's a rotation policy for our board as well. So every year at our AGM, new businesses have the opportunity to come forward at the annual general meeting, which is held in April. So if that's of interest to you, then we'd love to hear from you. And the delivery team is made up of 3 full-time and 2 part-time members of staff who are all pictured on this slide. So this is the bid area. There's a more detailed map available on our website. You'll notice I've got lots of yellow buttons on the slides which you can click in the PDF version and access more information. We're not proposing changes to the bid area either in the new term. So to the north we've got the train station, to the east Chesil Street, the south the Cathedral and Kingsgate Village, and to the west Romsey Road. So here on this slide we have the income for the current financial year, as well as bid members by sector to give you an indication of our annual income. A new 5-year budget has been prepared and is included in the draft business plan. And we expect that over the 5 years of the new term of the bid, the levy will enable over £2.9 million to be invested in projects and services. And we also expect to generate over £320,000 more, which will be again invested into projects to improve the city as a business location. There's 931 hereditaments or individual business properties within the Winchester bid area, and that equates to over 700 businesses. So on this slide we have the cover of our current business plan and a link that you can click to download it. Many of you will be familiar with this document now. Our work in the current term falls under 4 key themes which are listed here along with the different projects and services there. And all of these projects are made possible through that collective investment that businesses are making in Winchester to work together and deliver these additional services to make Winchester hopefully a much better place to do business. So the key themes are positioning and promoting Winchester, managing and enhancing the cityscape, supporting business growth, and influencing and inspiring change. So over the next couple of slides, I was just going to highlight some of the achievements in the current term and over the past 15 years. And I hope this will illustrate what we can achieve by having businesses and organisations working collectively together in Winchester through having a bid before providing a bit of information about our plans for the future. So the first theme is positioning and promoting Winchester. The bid city centre trails continue to be popular and are a great way of encouraging visitors and moving footfall around the city. And for example, the Bunny Hop Easter Trail in April of this year had 260 participating bid members, and we had 549 small groups and families taking part. There were 59 businesses involved in this year's Winchester Fashion Week, and the programme included 43 events over 6 days, including masterclasses, showcases, exhibitions, workshops, shopping events, and the grand finale catwalk show, which was hosted at the University of Winchester. The Winchester Christmas Lights Switch On event attracted 10,000 people into the city centre in 2021. The BID chairs the festival in Winchester's group, and this year there are over 40 festivals taking place across the city. The BID utilises print, radio, outdoor, social media and digital platforms to advertise Winchester and promote BID members. And across our social media channels, we've got over 17,500 followers, and we share content from BID members daily with our audience using the hashtag Hello Winchester, and there's also the hashtag IndieWinch, particularly important for July as Independent Business Month as well. So if you're using those hashtags in your social media, we'll share your content across our platforms as well. To help promote Winchester as a visitor destination, we work closely with Visit Winchester and also the Discover Winchester Consortium. The Winchester Business Excellence Awards provide an opportunity for businesses to promote major achievements and celebrate success, and this year marked the 20th anniversary year of the Business Awards. And each year we also distribute 50,000 copies of our Winchester Independence Pocket Map, which you can see in the bottom corner there. We're in Independence Month at the moment, and Sarah will talk a little bit about that later. But that's 50,000 copies which go out during the summer months, and also we've got a festive version as well, which goes out at Christmas time, as well as an online version to promote our fantastic independent businesses that we're lucky to have in Winchester. So moving on to the next theme, the Business Crime Reduction Partnership, which is managed by Jane, who's sat over there in the red. This brings together businesses, the police, the Winchester Community Safety Partnership, and it has a national standards accreditation which recognises good practice and professionalism. We've been managing that partnership for the past 11 years. 193 BID members have joined Shopwatch and Pubwatch. The BID Ranger scheme, which was launched in 2018 to help reduce business crime, provide additional security in the city centre. So that was launched in 2018, and since then the Rangers have helped recover over £50,000 worth of goods from offenders stealing from local businesses in the city centre and recover those goods. Last year, the Winchester Street Pastors, who are out on the weekends supporting people enjoying our nighttime economy, last year they celebrated their 10th anniversary year, working with the BID, the City Council and the police to help make the city safer at night time, and they work over the weekends, so Fridays and Saturdays, which are our busiest evenings. The Spare Change for Lasting Change giving scheme, some of you might have seen the red boxes which are in shops and pubs and various business locations around the city. They've also got electronic tags on them now, so you can scan them with your phone, so it's not just spare change, but you can donate using your mobile phone as well. Since that scheme was launched, it's raised £36,570 and 38 pence for homelessness charities, the Winchester Beacon and Trinity Winchester. Each year, as part of the BID's additional street cleaning programme, so that's above and beyond the cleaning which our local authority provides for us, we clean 10,000 metres squared of pavements within the BID area of grime and chewing gum, and also over 800 graffiti tags are removed. So if your premises gets tagged, contact us, let us know, and we can come along and get that cleaned for you, included within your levy payment into the BID. That's one of our services. And we have noticed a bit of a proliferation this year of graffiti, which we're working quite hard, particularly Sarah and some of her contacts at the council, to address the public property by the council, and we're out there cleaning up the business property which has been tagged. 2,551 floral hanging baskets have been provided to BID member premises over the past 5 years, and the summer floral displays were installed for this year a couple of weeks ago, and they'll be watered and maintained over the summer through to the autumn. And we're part of the Sustainable Business Network Steering Committee, which has helped to deliver 25 events over the past 5 years on a range of topics to help businesses reduce their carbon footprint. So supporting business growth, the third theme of the current business plan. In 2018, the BID launched a new savings and advisory service to help BID members to save money within their business. Since Winchester Business Centre opened in 2013, more than 100 startups and small businesses have used the facility as a base to grow their business. And the workspace has hosted networking sessions and events, and the meeting room is frequently utilised by BID members as well. And you have free access to that meeting room as BID members if you need a space to use. We offer free courses and workshops for businesses based on local demand. So recent examples include conflict management, financial management, first aid at work, marketing and selling, and people management. And if there are training needs that you have, do contact us. We don't run the same programs every year. It is based on what our members are saying they'd like us to deliver in that particular year. So we're always happy to look at new subjects. In 2020, we launched a health and wellbeing scheme to help connect people who work in Winchester with other BID members which offer health-related services to enhance their fitness and well-being. And the bidders provided support to businesses in times of need, and examples include snow clearing in winter, flood support assistance during power loss and roadworks disruption, and a business support service which we ran throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is the final theme, influencing and inspiring change. We've published 43 quarterly business barometer reports since 2011. Those reports assess business confidence, sales performance, footfall, vacancy rates, and how particular events impact businesses in Winchester. And the reports are utilised by the BID for our strategy, but also by central and local governments, Hampshire Chamber of Commerce and the Bank of England. And in particular, through COVID, we were feeding information back up to central government from information we were collecting in Winchester. We've represented and responded to business views on major topics, including Central Winchester and the station approach developments. Winchester Movement Strategy, we'll hear a bit more about that from Jeff later on. The local plan, Green Economic Development Strategy, which is a piece of work that's going on at the moment. Local and central government COVID-19 business support, and also the Treasury's business rates review. And we've also provided regular comment on the Winchester parking and access strategy, and we support new initiatives to help make travelling into the city centre easier. And this includes public transport and active travel. And some of you may be aware of our Park Winchester app. That's in the middle of the slide there. There's been 7,730 downloads of that app, which is there to help direct staff, customers and clients who are travelling by car to an available parking space within the city. So more information on all of that work that's been going on and is going on at the moment is available on our website. And you can click on each of the 4 key themes and get more information about the different projects and services. So if you want to take a look, it's winchesterbid.co.uk, and you will see that we now have a ballot 2022 page on the website as well, where you can find the key ballot dates and also download the draft version of the business plan for 2023 through to 2028. But the best way to stay up to date is probably to follow us on social media, see what we're doing day to day and the work that's going on, but also to sign up to our fortnightly e-newsletter, which you can do via our website or by contacting any member of the team. So this slide provides a little bit more information about how a bid ballot works. All those who, under the proposals for the new term, would be liable to pay the bid levy have 1 vote for each individual business premises they have within the bid area, and the ballot itself has to meet 2 tests. First, a simple majority of those voting must vote in favour, and second, the aggregate rateable value of the premises of those voting in favour must exceed that of those voting against. And again, there's a yellow button on there that you can click, which will take you through to that ballot 2022 page on the website. The draft business plan, which you can now see on the website, has been created in consultation with our members. That consultation is still ongoing at the moment. The final version, as I say, will be launched on the 21st of September. So we've been speaking with members over the past 10 months or so, and we've used a variety of different methods to capture business feedback about the projects and services they would like to see over the next 5 years. And this slide shows some of the projects and services which came out, I suppose, on top for many people that have participated in the surveys, come along to events and written notes on our post-its and flip charts and contacted the team. So additional public realm enhancements is a priority for many, making sure Winchester's looking clean and attractive. Also the floral displays and the Christmas lights. Our work specifically with independent businesses. So Sarah looks after a whole group of independent businesses with regular meetings. We have a ring-fence fund, and the projects under that area of work change depending on the needs of our independent business community. So people want to see that continue. Marketing the city, festivals and events, the cost savings and advisory service for businesses, lobbying and influencing the agenda on key issues which impact the commercial well-being of the city centre, measuring how the city centre is performing as a business location and making sure we're using this data to make decisions, but also to inform and influence others, promoting equality and diversity, sustainability and green issues, and health and well-being for people that work in the city centre. Networking and training opportunities, and also the Business Crime Reduction Partnership came up on top on many of the different feedback mechanisms that we've used, which includes, as I mentioned earlier, things like Shop Watch and Pub Watch and the Bid Rangers scheme, as well as a radio link scheme which connects shops and pubs and other businesses with CCTV control, with the police and with our Bid Rangers. So these are the themes for the new business plan, which you can see in the draft document, which you can download. And the first theme is a better promoted city. We know that continuing to shout about how great Winchester is, encouraging people to invest in the city, encouraging people to come and enjoy the city and visit it is really important. So marketing communications is there, and we'll be investing in campaigns, or continuing to invest in campaigns, which promote Winchester as a thriving location for commercial investment, but also one of the best places to live, work, visit and study in the UK. And we know it often tops some of these charts as well, so long may that continue. Supporting our independent businesses, as I mentioned, we're going to continue with that and continue with the Ring Fence Fund and a programme of work which can evolve as our conversations continue and develop with the independent business community. So it won't be the same programme every year. You can all get involved and help shape that throughout the term between 2023 and 2028. City centre events, specifically for us, although we run some of our own events, we support lots of other events which others organise, but we intend to diversify our programme so that we can create new opportunities for more bid members and different sectors within the local economy. We'll continue to support the festivals in Winchester Group, and also we provide some sponsorship for other events in the city. Seasonal promotions, so at times of year when there's a real benefit from us running campaigns for the public and visitors, we'll continue to do that. And also we will continue to support the Winchester tourist guides as well. The next theme is a safe and secure city. We know this is important too. So the Business Crime Reduction Partnership, Shop Watch and Pub Watch are included here. Also the Best Bar None accreditation scheme for nighttime economy venues, so we know that they're all performing well, and they are. And Jane is running that accreditation scheme with I think 16 venues at the moment to improve standards in the evening economy, and so that we can inform all of the people going out and enjoying the nighttime economy here that venues are run sensibly and well, and are great places to go and visit and enjoy some time out in the evenings. Also the Bid Rangers, and this is a scheme that we're looking to extend. So it started in 2018, so it's just as we came into this new term that we're currently in. So we're looking to grow that in the new term. So there are days at the moment where they're single crewed. We would like them to be double crewed every day, which means that they can respond to more happenings within the city, but it's also actually a safer sort of working environment for them. They do often team up with the police as well for their patrols, as well as outreach and the community safety team from the City Council. But it's been a scheme that's been very well supported, lots and lots of good feedback. It gets way more likes on Instagram than pictures of me, and I think we want to grow that, and that's one of the things that's been coming back in our surveys. So the third theme is a clean, attractive and sustainable city. So that's the summer and winter floral displays across the city. That's the Christmas lighting scheme for the festive season, and also those additional public realm enhancements, such as street clean, graffiti removed, but also putting new public art into the city centre as well, and the Sustainable Business Network. And then theme 4 is a thriving business community. So the annual Business Excellence Awards will continue in their 20th year this year. The Savings Advisory Service will continue doing networking, training and events, and that will continue to be a programme which is led by demand, as I say, rather than running a strict programme. We work closely with, for example, the Hampshire Chamber of Commerce with some of the programmes that they run. They've got a more fixed programme, and we try and respond to specific training needs from groups of businesses in our city as they come up. The Business Centre, and we're preparing to refurbish and upgrade that space next year. The Health and Wellbeing Scheme. Equality and diversity was something that came up as important to lots of people, particularly in that survey we did in autumn of last year. But it's also something that our board's been talking about in the last few years more as well. And we would like to introduce a new citywide campaign for National Inclusion Week. which is in October of each year. There's some great examples of programmes that cities run around the country, and we think Winchester should be doing that as well, to help promote more inclusive workplaces. Business continuity support will continue, and a really important one, which has grown a lot in the last term, is influencing the agenda and providing a shared voice for local businesses. So one of the key things we can do as a membership organisation, if we were voted in to deliver these projects on behalf of the business community, is we can collect information from you about what's important to you and feed that back to the people that we need to and the organisations that we need to. And by working together, we can raise that business voice. And that's particularly important as the city's still changing. We've still got several big projects on the horizon, hopefully, as well as key things like the movement strategy, which affects everyone coming in and out of Winchester, but also your customers and clients, which are travelling to the city as well. And the quarterly business barometers too, which is a key measure of how things are going for everyone in the city each quarter. And that goes back many years now, so we've got lots of data and trends that we can look at as well. So we're aiming to build on the successes of the past 15 years and deliver themes and activities based on the input and priorities raised by our bid members and the projects that they want us to keep, and also bring in a few new projects which people would like to see as well. But of course, we're also interested in what you have to say, so if you haven't engaged with any of these processes yet, do drop me a line. I'm happy to come and meet with you. You can drop me an email, you can contact us via the website, social media, whatever works best for you, and there's a still chance to help influence the final version of that document. So as I mentioned earlier, we're not proposing changes to the bid area. It has changed in previous terms, but we feel we've got to a point that it's about right now in terms of having a shared collective interest for those businesses. If you go too big, then you risk having some projects that are perhaps more relevant to others. And also at the moment, we're already, in terms of number of businesses, quite a large bid. We are one of the largest ones. So Winchester is quite densely compact with businesses, particularly in the very centre of the city. Also, no changes to the bid levy rules, and we're looking to retain that 1.5% of rateable value, which is what the bid levy is based upon. And also, importantly, no inflationary increases over the term of the bid as well. We know at the moment that costs are going up hugely in many different areas of our work and your work, and therefore we want to try and keep our levy costs down for you by not including inflationary increases on that. And the board and myself spent a lot of time looking at our 5-year budget to ensure that we can deliver those projects whilst maintaining the levy at 1.5% without inflationary increases. And that is what we did this year as well, so we know it can be done even in the face of quite high inflation at the moment. So please do visit the Ballot 2022 webpage, have a look at the new business plan. And if you want to give feedback, then please do, as we're in the final stages of development for the business plan. But we would still love to hear from you. So thank you very much. I hope that gives you a bit of a flavour of all of the things we've been doing, but also what's to come. I will pause for a moment if there's any questions, and then we will hand over to Sarah. So if there are any questions at all, anything anyone wants to ask. Okay. If there's anything you want to ask later, by all means come and grab me or drop me an email. I'd love to come and chat with you. So I will hand over to our bid manager, Sarah, now. I'm going to have my fingers crossed that video is going to play for you.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this
to
me. Thank you. Thanks, Paul. People often ask us at things like this, how does a small team do all that? Literally, Paul and I haven't slept, I don't think, for 3 years. Jane hasn't slept for a lot longer. Look at her, she's 23. We do it because we're passionate about the city. We do it because we are so passionate about what we've got here, and we are blessed by having such a beautiful canvas to work on. Paul mentioned 2,551 hanging baskets over the years. This year, 564, I think, have gone up. They don't look like this yet. They're not going to look like this. They're different colours this year. But this really does bring the city together. It gives it some synergy. So you'll have seen these up, and there's probably 6 on the front of this building. The rest are scattered throughout the bid area. We love doing the floral displays in summer. We also do them in winter in some areas. If you have a building that doesn't have a floral display on, please get in touch with me, because you should have one. But very often buildings get taken over by new businesses. Builders take brackets down and builders don't put brackets back up. If that's happened to you and you want brackets and you want hanging baskets, then please give me a shout and we'll get our boys back in. They come out and water those every other day. I'm going to say every other day. And that's an awful lot of watering as well. So summer floral displays are what we've just done. This is the video that we're going to hope works.
I'm Gwen and I'm from L&B in Winchester. Shop's named after my twin daughters, Eloise and Beatrice. St Thomas Street when I first started was quieter, much quieter. Now we have lots of independents, cafes and lovely independent shops. It's got a lovely vibe, and on a sunny day you can come here, sit outside, have something to eat and shop in the independent shops that are here. Winchester's got a huge amount of independent shops, from fashion boutiques to homeware stores. There's lots of cafes. It's got a great cafe culture. In the summer we have lots of visitors and tourists. We're well supported by the local community. My customers are a great split of Winchester residents and visitors from the local area. As an independent, we've been able to grow and develop within the city due to the support that we've had from our fantastic customer base. We now stock lingerie, soon to stock swimwear. Watch this space.
Mentioned July is Independence Month. It's a month when we celebrate all of the independents because they're what differentiate us in the city. They're what make people think, oh yeah, we'll go to Winchester. Winchester is not a retail destination. I will keep saying this. The retail is really secondary. Winchester sells itself because it's Winchester and it's beautiful. When you get here and you discover what we've got, then you realise, oh my goodness, this is what differentiates us. I can see some independent businesses in the room, and that's great. Over 200 now in the city. Go and find them all, go and try them all. My good colleague Susie, helps us no end producing the Independence Map. And as Paul said, 50,000 copies a year go out, 25,000 in the summer to businesses, 25,000 in the winter to residents. So we're telling residents, come here and celebrate our indies, because we know a lot of new people have come to the city and don't necessarily know what's on offer. So we literally door drop them. Independence Month, we make films like this to promote our indies. I only bought 2 dresses in this shop. That in itself is a miracle. But I'm a real big supporter of going out and supporting the independents because they're the ones who are actually doing this job to put their kids through school. That's quite important. Having said that, we have a really vibrant high street that attracts the nationals as well. We have some really good, strong brands moving into the city at the moment, staying in the city, committing to the city. But this month we celebrate indies by putting out films, video, radio, maps. You'll see flags across the city. It's a big old exercise in us promoting people to your door. So independence is what we're doing at the moment. This is a lovely photo montage that we did with the Hampshire Chronicle. Went out and got the independent businesses actually having their photos done so that we can shout a bit louder. So this went in the Chronicle. It's a big campaign that we're doing. As Paul mentioned, we love a hashtag, and the Indie Winch hashtag will undoubtedly be trending by the end of the evening, I'm sure, because I'll see you all doing your support. But it's not just about the retailers, it's about the service sector, it's about the hospitality sector, it's about all those lovely businesses. This morning I met a new tattoo guy who's moved in Southgate Street. We get all sorts of businesses. It's about architects, it's about surveyors, it's about all sorts of independent businesses that we are incredibly proud of, and we celebrate a lot this month. Paul mentioned Best Bar None, our celebration of safety in the nighttime economy. I'm currently planning this for the 1st of September. Jane and I are working on this. We've been choosing trophies today, which is great fun. The best bit of the job really, apart from the actual night. So we'll be celebrating with businesses who have shown that they are safe venues for all of us to go out to in the evening. So that's a big one. And of course, Spooky comes around again, Halloween comes around again, so we'll start working on this shortly, a word hunt across the city that runs concurrently with half term so that kids can get out and have some fun and then get rewarded with lots of sweets. Don't tell their mums. It wouldn't be anything if I didn't tell you Christmas lights. This is already done. I'm working on January now, let's be quite honest, because this is how far ahead we work on. The Christmas lights will be switched on in Winchester on Thursday the 17th. Thank you very much. 17th of November. As Paul showed you earlier, 10,000 people turn up to this. This is not a hard sell. The most difficult bit, Jeff, shut your ears. The most difficult bit is trying to get all the licences from Hampshire in order to do this, and all the road closure notices and everything else. But Pete from Stagecoach is here, and he's very helpful in shutting bus lanes and moving buses and things like this. So this will be a big old celebration of Christmas lights switch on again. We wondered last year how it was going to be received. I didn't know if anybody would turn up. When 10,000 people turn up at your front door, it's like, yeah, this is all right, this works.
It's the busiest one ever, I think.
It was the busiest one ever, yeah. But it's such a great day, and it's such an all-engaging day. We've also, and I'm as part of Christmas and as part of Independent Month, we've taken a chalet with Alison at the Christmas market this year to showcase our independent businesses. So over the 4 weeks that the Christmas market is on, we will be putting independent businesses in a chalet on the market to see how they can experience a different audience. We've got 15 businesses signed up for that as well. So loads going on. I don't know how we have time to sleep. I don't think we do. I really don't think we do. Which leads us nicely on to not sleeping and welcoming Hannah to talk to us about Trinity. I'm not taking questions because they're always too difficult, but I will take questions afterwards.
I don't know if I'm a bit short for this. Stand to the side a little. Thank you very much for having me here. It's really interesting to hear what's going on in the city as well. So Trinity has been in existence for 36 years. We're a predominantly homeless charity. We have a women's service, a drop-in service, full healthcare service to include GPs, nurses, chiropodists, dentists and an opticians. And we provide housing. We've got 2 of our own housing accommodations. One is in Hyde Street and the other is attached to our drop-in centre just down at the bottom of North Walls. So for the very reason we're here tonight, as Paul said, we've got some extra funding to be able to offer outreach. So we currently work in partnership with the Winchester City Council, 2 Saints, who have also got 2 homeless hostels in the city, and Winchester Beacon. There's already a homelessness outreach service that's been going for years, and we're very much a part of that. But what we've been given now from the Office of Police and Crime Commissioner is a specific set of funds over 3 years to be able to deliver some antisocial outreach to try and help tackle what's currently going on in the city centre. Very conscious of King's Walk and places like that where there's just been a concentration of people gathering, causing antisocial behaviour, being a bit disruptive. So what we would like to do is work alongside businesses and work alongside the city centre, the city council, to try and help reduce the impact of that behaviour on the local businesses, try and encourage people that perhaps aren't using Trinity services to come back into Trinity services. We're very conscious during the pandemic, everything we did was outreach based, and we now need to try and encourage some of those people back into the services to access the help that they need. Some of that will be healthcare. Tomorrow we've got a really big launch. We've got a new organisation starting to live in Trinity's building, and they're launching their new rehab day hab. I have to say that slowly, it's quite hard to say too close together. And what that is going to offer is people the opportunity to become abstinent from substances. And what we know is one of the biggest causes of the antisocial behaviour at the moment in the city centre is people that are battling their addictions, and it's causing that street attached behaviour, the begging, perhaps a bit of aggression. So we're very pleased to be able to have Help Me Stop as part of our offering now. So what we're going to do over the next 3 years, more intensively over the next few months, is to get to know all the local businesses, try and understand what the daily impact of this behaviour is for the local businesses, and be a port of call to say, look, we're having a bit of hassle here. Could Phil, who was going to be here with me tonight but he can't be, could Phil just come and chat to these people and see if you can bring them into Trinity? So we're going to work alongside the drug and alcohol services. So if people aren't coming into us, we're going to take the services out to them and just try and disrupt some of this behaviour, but also bring about some lasting change, because these people need to recover from their addiction, and if they don't, there's going to be no end to it. So what we're hoping to do is work in partnership to address the support needs of these clients, but also reduce the antisocial impact that that behaviour has. We know at the moment the rough sleeper numbers in Winchester are actually very low, so we know a lot of the people that are causing this antisocial behaviour are housed, and therefore it is addiction-led. It's being attached to the street community in a way that isn't healthy, and we want to disrupt that whilst offering the support and hopefully reducing the impact that they're having on the people around us. We talk about Winchester City being a great place to live and topping those charts, which is amazing. And we want our client group to feel that as well. We want them to experience Winchester as a great place to live, and we want them to be positive contributors to the city centre. They've got a role to play in how the city works, and we really want to draw that out of them and bring about some positive change, lasting change, and also that awareness to actually what's really going on. Is it that helpful to give directly to somebody that's begging on the street, or is it better to give to the spare change scheme? And also there's 7 days a week, there's outreach now, so we take food out on a weekend, we take water, sun cream in the heat wave, all sorts of things. So there's things that we can do as a homelessness service to address their food needs and their water needs, and hopefully reduce that sort of, I don't know how to say this correctly, but we don't really want passers-by giving lots of people stuff when they're begging on the street, because it's never going to reduce then what they're gaining from the begging. So what we want to do is promote the services that are out there. Know that if you see somebody that's on the streets, you can say, actually, Trinity have got an outreach, or go to the Trinity service, because we just don't want them begging on the street. It's not good for them, it's not good for the city, it's not good for us as a homelessness service. It's, you know, very public. So we just want to do our part within the city centre really, and help reduce that impact, promote positive change, promote positive lifestyles, and actually allow these people to feel that they are a wanted part of the community. And when they're being antisocial, of course, nobody wants that behaviour, but what we want to do is help them see what they could contribute positively, and also for the rest of their lives. And we talk about recovery, it's long term, which is great that we've got the 3 years funding, because it does take a long time to help people break that pattern of addiction. And we want to work with our housing partners as well to find out what we could do collectively as homeless organisations to meet these needs. Do we need to have a fresh approach? Do we need some fresh eyes for these people? 2 of the current rough sleepers, they've been out there a long time, and it's very easy to judge them on their behaviour 3 years ago, but actually do we need to give them fresh chances and fresh opportunities? So in a snapshot, that's what we're hoping to do with this funding. And I must say a really special thank you to the BID for giving us the radios and introducing us to the rangers and just opening those doors for us. So Phil and possibly Steve, our other outreach worker, will be coming round to local businesses to introduce themselves. They've got some little cards that they're going to be giving out with their contact details. And we're also hoping to do an awareness raising day on the High Street in the summer as well, just to explain what is homelessness, what is street attached behaviour, where the resources are that you can be signposting these people to, and who to get hold of when it's becoming a bit of an issue. And we don't shy away from the fact that there is an issue and it does need addressing, and it's partly our role with this funding and with being a homelessness service to come out and address that for you guys as well. So I think that's probably all. I'm going to hang around, so if there's questions, please come and speak to me. And I hope that we're a positive part of your business community, and I hope that we do really see an impact. We have begun to see people coming in that haven't used the service for a while, one of whom has just engaged with the drug and alcohol service and is now on a drug reduction script. So there's some positive movement, but it is long term, it's about consistency, and it's just about that fresh approach, fresh eyes, opening up the resources to these people post-pandemic and pulling together for the benefit of the city and them. So thank you.
Brilliant. No, thanks so much, Helen. That's excellent news to securing that funding, and some really great partnership working going on between lots of different organisations. So yeah, we look forward to working with Trinity on that scheme. As we say, you can ask questions afterwards if you want, or stay around at the end and talk to us as well. We've got several members of the team, obviously Hannah's here as well. But next, our next speaker on the agenda is Jeff Hobbs from Hampshire County Council, who will be talking to us about the new Mini Holland feasibility study. And all will be explained by Jeff.
So, good evening everyone, and thank you very much for fitting me into the agenda for this evening's bid forum. So my name's Jeff Hobbs, I'm part of the transport planning team at Hampshire County Council, and I have been working on the Winchester movement strategy for the last 2 years. I've also lived in Winchester for about 8 years previously, and I've worked in Winchester for nearly a decade, so I probably don't know it as well as people in this room, but I know hopefully enough to be able to make some sort of useful contributions to the vitality and the success of our great city. A traditional approach to transport by highway engineers has generally been, oh dear, there's congestion, right, let's just widen the road a bit and then that will solve the problem. So obviously Winchester, we don't have that option open to us. We have a historic city with narrow streets and fabulous architecture and really historic heritage and buildings, and we need to respect that. So the kind of city that I have in my mind when I think of what would it be great if Winchester looked like this, would be something more like this picture here on the right, with very few vehicles around, lots of heavy footfall, lots of people stopping, talking, chatting, socialising, using that street space in an active and human sort of scale way. So this image here is from the London Borough of Waltham Forest. So about 5 years ago, the Mayor of London ran a mini Holland competition. So they offered London boroughs, of which there's 33, the chance to bid for up to £30 million each to deliver what they call mini Holland projects, and I'll explain a bit more about that, what that involves in a minute. And Enfield, Waltham Forest, and the London Borough of Kingston were the three that secured £30 million each. And over the past sort of 5 years or so, some pretty innovative and transformative things have been done to not just residential areas, but district centres and retail areas too, that have made quite a big impact on how people use those streets and how they travel around. So there's been a lot of lessons learned from these three pilot projects, and in a year ago, in 2021, the government announced that cities outside London could be able to bid for mini Holland feasibility funding. And last August, the County Council and City Council, we put in a bid for Winchester, and in April this year we found out that we were successful in being chosen as one of 19 areas to receive £79,000 each to do a feasibility study. We're excited to try and emulate the sort of success that we see here from Waltham Forest, and see if we can apply some of these techniques and ideas to our wonderful city. We are in a competitive process against these 18 other urban areas and places. And the chances are that the government will pick up to 3 or 4 of the 19 places to receive quite large chunks of money, a bit similar to the £30 million each that the 3 London boroughs got. So as a transport planner and someone who understands what you can do with that sort of money, a sort of 20 million or 30 million injection into how people can move around Winchester could be quite a big thing. So I'm quite excited about this opportunity. I hope you are too. So there's 3 different building blocks that come together to make a mini Holland project. There's link schemes that help people to walk or cycle safely and confidently without worry or anxiety along a transport corridor. What that is about providing a place, a sort of corridor for movement where people walking or cycling feel safe and they feel confident and comfortable in that environment. So at the moment, a lot of pavements, a lot of narrow streets in Winchester. If I was walking or if I was cycling along those streets, I wouldn't feel safe, I wouldn't feel confident. So we've got quite a lot of work to do to be able to create those conditions where people do feel safe. The second ingredient is area-wide schemes. So this is something that Waltham Forest and Enfield have done a great job on, of working with residents and residential areas, listening to people's ideas about through traffic that cuts through residential areas that could go around those residential areas that they're just trying to save a couple of minutes on their journey. What the sorts of techniques that the two London boroughs have done that work really well are looking to reduce traffic speeds. So instead of 30 miles an hour, it would be a sort of default 20 mile an hour sort of speed limit set up. And the idea would be you would feel that it would be quicker or just as quick or just as easy to walk or to cycle to the corner shop, the hairdresser, the local takeaway, or the GP surgery, or the school that your children go to, or the community centre or church or whatever. So it's all about a sort of 15-minute neighbourhood idea where you could reach most of the services that you would need to use on a day-to-day basis as a resident of a suburb of Winchester. You could get to most of those places on foot or by bike within a 15-minute time frame, and that's not sort of power walking or bombing along on a road bike. It's sort of a sedate, sort of gentle, normal speed, human speed. So not about rushing. It's imagine you had a small child walking with you. That would be that sort of 15-minute sort of distance. So yeah, so we have some lovely suburban areas in Winchester. But we do have issues with traffic trying to cut through some of them, and if we can try and persuade by various different traffic management techniques those drivers of those vehicles to use the routes around these residential areas, then inside these cells, then it would be quieter, safer, more pleasant to live, and you could stop and chat and have conversations with people that you meet on the way to those shops or services. So yeah, it's something that has been the default in most Dutch towns for a good 20 or 30 years, and it works really, really well. And in places like Waltham Forest, the techniques they've used have led to a 75% or 90% reduction in traffic on some of these quieter streets. And yeah, residents really do think it's been transformative, and it has made a huge difference to their quality of life. So there's big potential there. And the third part of the mini Holland jigsaw is looking to join together these residential neighbourhoods by safe crossing points, so either zebra crossings or signal control crossings, to get you across those busy roads where maybe at rush hour there's a constant stream of cars coming along, and it would just be potentially you'd be waiting a very, very long time for a gap in the traffic to be able to cross that busy road. So we're thinking for Winchester we can have the right combination of these three special ingredients, and we're working on completing our study by October of this year. So it's quite a rapid time frame for developing these proposals. So we've been launched a online survey where we've so far got 500 comments from different residents, and nearly 1,000 agrees with comments that people have made through that portal. So we've got lots of ideas and issues that residents have raised about just how easy is it to walk or to cycle around different parts of the city, and a lot of those apply to the main retail core of the city, so the high street route and the side streets with the independent stores. So I'd encourage you all to, a bit later on, have a look at the website, have a look at some of the comments of the street where your business is based, and it helps you sort of get under the skin a little bit of how people feel when they're experiencing that street or walking through that area or cycling through it. So so here's a couple of examples from Kingston in southwest London of the sorts of link scheme that we could create. So previously this was a fairly wide area of carriageway with quite narrow pavements. So one of the lanes of the road was taken and reallocated to a two-way segregated cycle lane. So there's a sort of step curb where the pavement is up here, and there's a sort of mid-height level, then there's another drop to the road. So people cycling along this separate bit feel safe because they're away from cars, and pedestrians feel safe because they don't have to look out for bikes coming along or behind them or whatever. And when you get to a more sort of mixed street environment where there might be shops and frontages, then there's options for cycle crossings to help get across roads, and good sort of safe corridors where people who are cycling don't feel that they have to take their chances with high volume traffic roads, and you've got good separation there. So if you went to a town in Holland, you would find virtually every radial route or main road have cycle lanes on each side, and really good, proper high quality facilities. These are the sorts of high quality bits of infrastructure that anyone between the age of 88, or a child who's just passed their bike proficiency, an 8-year-old child right through to an 80-year-old, this is the sort of level of quality that people are hoping would be needing or looking for to be able to persuade them to drive a bit less and to travel actively a bit more. So the government have come up with 5 concepts of the sorts of what good looks like. So coherent, so it doesn't stop and start and run out, it all hangs together as a network. Direct, it doesn't take you off on all sorts of ridiculous tangents. Safe, you feel safe whether you're an experienced, confident cyclist or walker or less confident. Comfortable, so you don't feel you're taking your life into your hands. And attractive, so pleasant and enjoyable to use. So other towns and cities have been developing measures to quieten down traffic in residential areas. So the example on the left is an example from the east side of Oxford, and the one on the right there is an example of the sorts of things they're proposing for Brighton. So a lot of UK towns and cities are developing these sorts of ideas to make residential neighbourhoods easier to walk or cycle around, and some of it involves making it harder for traffic to get from one side of a main road to another main road. So rather than cut through a residential area, they could be quicker and easier to go around in a bit of a loop around on the main roads. So there are parts of Winchester where, because of congestion in certain places, that people do cut through residential side streets because in their view it's quicker. By putting in carefully placed restrictions that are chosen because of a conversation we have with local residents, then the residents see the benefit of it. They're invested in it because we've come and spent the time talking to them and finding out what works for them and what their needs are. And we'd look to do the same approach here in Winchester. And the sorts of features that you could see coming to a neighbourhood near you, an example like this from Lambeth in London, where there's a sort of bollard near where that man is standing, so you're effectively turning a sort of staggered T-junction into 2 right turn only sort of bends, with raised tables, trees, planters, crossing points, different textured materials, that sort of thing. Other examples are where you can take away a parking bay of a bit of on-street parking, and you can put in some seating and benches and even a chess table to encourage interaction and people to stop and enjoy that space. And the other examples are where you have a couple of planters and a bollard which could be removed for emergency service access, and then that creates a sort of route where it's called a modal field. Bikes and pedestrians and buggies and mobility scooters can still get through, but cars won't be able to use that as a cut-through route anymore to get through from one main road to another. And residents would still have access to their properties. They would just potentially need to take a slightly different route to get in and out of their neighbourhood. And the cells get linked together by new crossing points, either signal controlled crossings or a new zebra crossing like the one near the new Sports and Leisure Park. So yeah, there's other things that we can look to do to develop a bit more of a cycling culture in Winchester. So making sure there's enough cycle parking in the areas where people want it. So near key destinations around the retail core, and make sure that local schools, we work with them so that young people feel confident cycling around, and there's training sessions that could be done for families and people who haven't cycled for a few years to help them to get confident enough to be out on a bike again. And in some areas of the city where there's no driveway parking and there's not much space to be able to try and manoeuvre a bike through a narrow hallway and to the back of the house or whatever, then these bike hangers are a great space-saving solution which allow people to securely lock their bikes in these hangers, and that's something that we're looking at the moment. So here's our interactive web portal. It's a little bit of a mouthful of a URL, but yeah, Paul and the team will send these slides out and you'll be able to follow it. So we've got another week and a half where we're collecting comments, and the idea is you can locate a particular area, you can drop a pin on the map, and then you can put a description of what the issue is, and then we've got the location and the idea or the problem or the thing you're trying to make better. So it's a really useful tool that people have really found, got their teeth stuck into, and after just 3 weeks we've had 500 comments, and that's sort of beyond the upper scale of my expectations. So people are finding it a useful way of coming up with ideas and suggestions. So really we've heard from residents. We'd like to hear from staff who work within businesses about what makes it hard or what deters them from walking or cycling to work if they live and work in the city, and what sorts of things could we do to make it a more walking and cycling friendly city, and that includes the retail core of the city too. So obviously the work in Great Minster Street with the bollards and the square, that took a considerable amount of discussion and time and effort to get that scheme in, but the businesses based in the square and Great Minster Street and Market Lane have reaped the rewards of that transformed street environment, and if we do it in the right way, consulting and listening to the right people at the right time, then it can yield success. So I'd encourage you guys as businesses to visit the consultation portal before the end of July, drop in pins and comments and suggestions, and we'll take those all into account when we develop ideas and proposals for these 3 types of measures that I've talked about. So if that sounds too complicated or too difficult, then if you can contribute your ideas via the bid team, then they can pass those on to us and we can factor those in to our study, and hopefully we'll come up with some proposals that we can share with you and see how it's shaping up a bit later in the autumn, and you can contribute again to that process, because we want to involve businesses as well as residents, and it's important that your voice is heard. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Any questions at all for Jeff on that, or on the movement strategy?
Jeff, what's the main message that's coming out from people who've responded so far? Are they in favour of this?
So we're asking them to suggest what issues or problems they face that deter them from walking or cycling more. So we've had lots and lots of comments and feedback about those issues. In the spring, Sarah, we did an engagement with, between December and February, we ran a 12-week consultation about the movement strategy and the sorts of things people would like to see, and things that came up very favourable were public realm improvements and walking and cycling improvements. So those are the things that people have said in quite large numbers that they want to see. So this is the next logical sort of progression of how we take that will of the people forward, to be able to come up with a set of proposals that if we are chosen as one of the 3 or 4, then we could get a significant multi-million pound award that could allow us to do some really transformative, exciting things to change how people get around the city, but in a way that works for Winchester. Obviously we're very different from Enfield, we're very different from Kingston and Waltham Forest. We need to do it in a way that works for us as a city.
How wide do you reach? What's your geography? Just thinking, because it says Winchester city centre, but obviously some of us live in the outskirts of Winchester and are prohibited cycling in because of that very reason, about anxiety and stuff, and dangerous trunk roads into the city. How far are you planning to go out?
So this study will cover the movement strategy area, which is the urban built-up area of Winchester. But we haven't forgotten about the satellite villages around that look to the city. We're developing a walking and cycling infrastructure plan starting this month that will, over the course of the next 9 months or so, come up with a set of proposals for how we can better link up some of those satellite villages like Twyford, like Colden Common, Ampfield, Hursley and Sutton Scotney and South Wonston with the city centre. So watch this space. The funding for this study, and if we get the funding, we'd only be able to do things within the urban area of Winchester, but we'll still be able to develop proposals and put future funding bids in for some of those other links to get the villages better linked in.
Chris?
Just a quickie, I mean, I've been looking at the website now. The website is very focused on cycling. I have to say I live in Winchester, I have no interest in cycling. But I have a huge interest in the Mini Holland project.
Yes.
Is there any way of getting out to people that just live in the town, who have a strong view about traffic flows that don't care about cycling?
So it was picked up by the Chronicle about 2 weeks ago. We've got our own Facebook and social media channels, both the County Council and City Council. So before it closes at the end of July, we'll be doing some further pushing out the messages of raising that awareness, so more residents get the opportunity to provide their views.
Thank you very much indeed, Jeff.
Thank you.
I have to say, like that, the maps and the comments, I love that. I respond to lots of consultations throughout my day-to-day life, obviously through working with the bid, but being able to see what other people think as well in specific streets and areas is really, really useful, because sometimes there's problems where you think, well, we all think walking and cycling more is a good idea, but how do you do it in a heritage city with narrower streets, or we've still got people that need to commute in other ways. So it's always really interesting to be able to see in the areas that you're particularly interested in, what's everyone else saying actually, and how might that influence what you feel as well. So the links are on the slide. So there's all those links that I had on my yellow buttons on the slides. We've got there's not a link to Trinity Winch, you can certainly Google them. I can put one in, and we've got a link to the consultation in the slide pack as well. So that will be shared tomorrow through our social media channels, and there'll also be a video of the presentation for anyone who wasn't able to join us this evening. So thanks to Sarah and Hannah and Jeff, and thanks to everyone for listening. If you'd like to stay around and have a drink and a chat with each other, or with myself, Jeff or Hannah or Sarah or other members of the team, Jane and Chris are here, and you're very welcome to do so. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.